Quick recap of tonight's lesson. I know the announcement kind of came out really quickly about coming back tonight for Wednesday night service. I kind of gotten confused on the date, and I think I confused somebody else. I said, all right, we'll just go back this week to Wednesday night. So just kind of a quick recap of our lesson that we talked about tonight. We talked about distinct roles within the family, and so when it comes to that family unit, mom, dad, children, there's distinct biblical roles that each person is to have. And it's important that we understand each other's job. As young people, it's important that they understand that mom and dad have a job that they're doing. They're to nurture and they're to admonish. And we talked a little bit about those things. We said nurture is to train, to educate, to discipline. To instruct, to teach. We said admonish is to call to attention, to kind of rebuke or a little bit of a warning at times. And so that's kind of the role and that's the job that parents have. And so it's important for young people to grasp that so that they can let mom and dad do their job and for them to be able to train them up in the way that they should. And so there's these biblical roles that fall to the different people within a family. We made the comment, or we made the statement from God's Word that children are to obey and then children are to honor. And we said obedience is kind of the action, and then honoring is kind of that attitude or the spirit in which they do obey. So these are godly principles. These are biblical principles that should be found within the family unit. And one of the reasons we see so much difficulty in our world today is the lack of unity within families, the lack of a loving attitude within families, and the lack of understanding roles. So, we've all met that young person that is in charge of the family. You ever met that type of person? We made the comment, this is kind of like Veruca from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. And she's the one that she wants what she wants, and she's going to get it, and that type of person. That a young person like that has not been taught properly. And so they're going to struggle in many areas in life because they've never came to the place where they understand how to obey and where they understand how to honor. And then at the same time, we see at times families where the parents are not ready to be a parent. They're not ready to be in charge. And so they make bad decisions at times, and they don't care for their young people the way that they should. This is a really big issue, especially in our world today, as we're seeing young people and they're not growing up with that nurture and that admonition. Sometimes it's kind of, they're choosing to go against it. Sometimes it's the parents. But within the church, we really want to make sure that we are doing our best to have that biblical family. We talked a couple different things tonight about that, and then we mentioned that there needs to be loyalty within a family, especially between mom and dad. The young people need to know that mom and dad are committed to each other, that when problems arise, they're going to work those problems out, they're going to move forward together as a family. Then we also said that families want to follow the principle of living connection. In other words, that families are spending the time that they should to be able to connect. That husband and wives are spending the time that they should to be able to connect and to be able to talk things through and to grow together. And then same thing when it comes to parent and children, spending that time to be able to nurture and admonish. And then we mentioned lastly that we need to be loving and showing compassion within our families. Now, as we think about these things, everybody's at some different roles, and some people are at the place, where I'm at with smaller or younger children, and some are more at that place with teenagers, and some are more at that place where perhaps they have children, and their children are now having children, and maybe even some of you, your grandchildren are having children, and you've moved on to that place in life. And so all of these roles in these different areas in the family, it's important for us to grasp them. It's important for us to understand them. And these are things that even as grandparents, they can help instill those truths in their children and then also in their grandchildren, and let their grandchildren know, listen, mom and dad aren't the enemy. They're there to teach. They're there for you to learn from, and you can help in those areas. So understanding these roles are important no matter what place we are in life. And we want to make sure that as Christians, as believers, we have a good foundation within our homes, within our families. It's so important today. Hope you have a great week.